Yolan Troon, welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And today I want to talk about a topic that was a little bit haunting me because I thought, I talked about that ship before and did a regular ship video on that one. But because of what went on recently with wars we had, with armadas, with my ascension into G6 space and stuff like that, my perception of the ship changed so much that I really wanted to make a video on why the Enterprise NX-01 that you see there has become so important for my gameplay. And that's what I want to talk about in this video today. Because the ship, when it came into the game, it was, new enemies, so more grind, and then you are always dying against the aquatic battleships, and that's so annoying, and I really wasn't very fond of that ship, and you can see it a little bit on my ship level here, because I still haven't maxed it, but because in between I really dropped it. But over time, I really got a bit more acquainted to the ship and the use of it, to start with something that's still related to the ship a little bit. In Xindi space out here, we also have Xindi Armadas. And they are quite tough. And if you really want to have loot from them, you have to go a bit higher. But most players on the level when they're starting will not be able to even think about that. But if you're in alliance with some people that are a bit stronger, the NX-01 already can make that really easy for you, depending on your warp range, of course. You have to work on the NX-01 and on some favors to push up the warp range. But that's what some people in my alliance did that are far away from my level, not to mention the level of our biggest players. But they have the warp range, for example, to get to Henzir. Here in Henzir, you find level 60 Xindi Armadas. And they can go there with their NX-01. When you go into a Xindi Armada with an NX-01, you will not get much loot because of the low power of it compared to the power of the ships that are needed to fight there, with one exception, when you are the starter. And if you go with your NX-01 into Henzir and start that Armada with your NX-01, you get a loot chest as a starter, and that thing is worth doing it. So don't just go into those Armadas with your NX-01. If bigger guys are starting them, you will not really get loot. But make sure that you, as early as you can do that, because you have enough support in your alliance, even with your small NX-01 that can just reach this system, start those Armadas. And then your bigger players in the alliance that you might have, it was the case in my alliance here. I was only able to go there with the NX-01 at some point, start the Armada. Others of our bigger players helped out so that we could defeat that thing. And I got the starter chest. And that was the important part for me for the exchanges. So this is the very first part where the NX-01 was important for me. The other part, of course, but I used other ships before that, like the Titan and the Voyager, is of course flying through the galaxy to high warp range systems to explore everything. And especially that got important for me first in 5-star space to get to the big systems here, like here with the Romulans. But now especially for me in the 6-star systems or G6 space. There, the NX-01 was my ship with my highest warp range, and I could explore and explore and explore. And you might have seen my video on starting easy G6 mining or 6-star mining. The prerequisite for that was my NX-01, because that was the one that could get to the level 67 faction system, where the housing planets are and where the mines are. And that's why it was only possible for me to do that early, as I said it in the video, because I had the NX-01. And I'm still collecting missions out here. There are loads of missions out here. I'm collecting them with the NX-01 because it can get to those systems, even if my other ships can't. And I'm doing a lot of them. And always until the point, defeat that and that hostile. All these go to or go there and meet this and meet that, I always am able to do with the NX-01. So I did a lot of missions with that one as well because of the warp range. And there's another advantage that you must not underestimate. From time to time, you will end up in a war in this game that happens. I had it on every server that I played, and there are always people that are driving things so far that in the end you will have a war, and that usually happens to most people, occasionally at least. And then your NX-01 plays a nice role as well. I talked about this when we recently were in a war, and especially for territories it was really interesting. It's for territories and it's for systems in high warp range space where you cannot look into the systems. That also makes sense to know, do I have to go there? Are some of our enemies there mining, for example? And so you can have a look before you wait for minutes to fly there and everything. But especially in territory, that's interesting because you cannot look into other alliances' territories. And especially when you're at war with another alliance here. Then you can use the NX-01 to look into the system that into their systems, and without flying around and giving away that you are on the hunt, you can scout the systems with your NX-01 and the NX-01 ability. Yeah, you know, the long road ahead, to scout those enemy systems, and then you know, okay, there are targets for me. Then you fly in with your big gun and kill those. But you don't give it away too early by scouting. Of course, you can do that with a cloaked ship as well, but it was quite fun to do that with the NX-01. And that's what I really used during our war. The war is over, but it was really fun. To be honest, war from so once a year is making the game a bit more interesting, because you have to change your personal strategies and tactics for your dailies and everything. And of course, you have to interrupt it for the others. So I don't want to be in a constant state of war. But to have a war once a year adds more fun to the game, to be honest. Even if I'm not a big PvP player, that does do it. And then to think about tactics like that is another part of the fun. The cloaked ships, which you usually don't use anymore except for your dailies maybe, or the NX-01 ability, that was real fun. And of course, using the NX-01 now for the big scouting is the other part. But these three things made the NX-01 really important for me. Of course, I'm from time to time hunting reptiles and aquatics in Xindi space with it, but it got really important for me for my normal gameplay, for my advancements into higher spheres of the game, for my advancements in the Xindi Armadas, as I said, and of course for the war. So the NX-01 is a much more important ship for my personal gameplay than I ever thought it would. And so that's why I wanted to make this video today, to give a little glimpse into why I think so. And I'm really looking forward to see what your opinion is about this. So please write it in the comments below the video and on Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.